Hello, my Taurus friends. This is Jill with the Healing Moon Tarot, and today we're going to do your September 2018 general reading. This will probably be filmed in two separate parts because my camera has decided it won't record continuously for more than 20 minutes. And we know I'm going to talk all day. So let's start with an oracle card. I hope everyone's doing really well. I am. Love this kind of time of the year with getting everything sorted with kids back in school and readjusting life. It can be challenging, but it's usually a really fun time of the year for my family. And let's pull this one. Be spontaneous. Oh, I love that card. Hold on, I'll give you a better look. Let me just get those out of the way. The artwork on these cards is just amazing. I love the moon being all red in the background. So I think that pretty much speaks for itself, Taurus, with be spontaneous. That is what I'm going to take as kind of your mantra for the month, Taurus. So have you kind of fallen into a rut? Are you already in the back to school, back to whatever, if you have a family where you're feeling overscheduled and trying to get all your ducks in a row and make sure things run smoothly, or even with your job, is it just, I know a lot of the last quarter at, a lot of industries is things come down to the wire and things get really serious and so forth. It just seems to be the last bit of the year can sometimes be the most stressful and hard to manage. So I feel that be spontaneous coming out is just reminding us that once in a while we have to break free from the schedule, break free from the day-to-day whatever, and take opportunities to do something we really enjoy doing in a spontaneous way, where you're flipping through Facebook and you see a band that you like is in town tomorrow night and the tickets are cheap, and why not? Something like that, where you're just like, okay, let's go do this. I don't need to have it on my schedule 3 months before it happens. It's just that spontaneity can bring a lot back into your life. Especially if you're married and you're a parent, and that's kind of, I know, where you start doing the same thing and you feel like you live in Groundhog's Day kind of thing. It's hard to make that work in your life. It's hard to get babysitters, or it's hard this or that, but try. It's good for us to just be like, you know what, that sounds like fun right now. And we have the Four of Wands come out, which is a party card. I mean, look, they're dancing under fireworks. They are having a good time. So I'm definitely taking this as a time to celebrate your life, celebrate who you are, just celebrate being able to breathe and move and think and do all the things that us humans do on this amazing planet. You don't always, there may be a specific reason to celebrate coming up, but regardless, be a little spontaneous, have some passion and fun or excitement in your life, and that's a really fun way. Ooh, that went far. We have the Queen of Swords, and Queen of Swords, I love the Queen of Swords energy. She is straightforward, to the point, blunt, very decisive, can make decisions and make things happen, and that kind of energy. So just because you're having a good time and being spontaneous and so forth doesn't mean you can't hold on to that. In Taurus, you may very well fall into this category. I know a lot of Taurus do. But or this could be an air sign in your life that you're dealing with, that you're having a good time with. But this person is pretty, they're going to cut to the chase, And when I see this card, I think no BS, which is a-okay with me. I don't like a lot of BS. I don't like a lot of drama or ridiculousness or over the top kind of stuff. I love to have a good time. I love to have fun, but I'm not an extremist in most things. I'm a pretty mild, tame person. And I really like it when people don't have any BS and they can talk in a straightforward manner with me and entertain me doing the same to them. And I always feel that this card comes from good intent because it is the Queen. So she has good intentions. However, she's not always perceived that way. Some people that are a little more meek or mild may take her as a little too strong or over the top or too big of a personality. But let's see what other card comes out with it. I'm not trying to take the whole deck right now. Let's see if I can shuffle. We have the Five of Coins. I feel like I hate to use the word segregation, but this card always kind of brings up this separation of people, of class, of rank, or it can be like on the outside looking in or on the inside looking out. It's this very distinct kind of line. Like this shows typically shows a really beautiful church with poor people, beggars, or injured people, that kind of thing outside of the space. It also always reminds me that there's usually help nearby if your perspective allows you to see it, if that makes sense. So this is sorry, just watching it play in my head. That doesn't make sense to you. It, like, the way I look at the cards, the visuals of the cards cause almost like a movie to play for me, where I look at the different situations and how the energies of each card interact with each other, and every time I pull a card, it kind of adds to the story, if you will. And I pulled this last card with an intent for clarification, if you will, on this card, or to specifically add with this card, because I really wasn't understanding how it was playing a role here. However, with the Hierophant coming out, the Hierophant, it's funny because this is, I said, a church, right, with people outside. The Hierophant is also depicted in a church setting as a religious leader with some followers. Now, this is not specifically saying, hey, go to church or whatever. However, I feel like maybe some of this lack of excitement or whatever in your life that you're trying to pull in may be associated with a church or a group or some type of organization that you're involved in. One where there's a hierarchy, there is a separation, because I said, what did I say? The word I didn't want to use was, segregation. And I don't know why that word was so strongly brought into my head, but I think separation is probably a better word, but two different groups of people, or two different classes of people, or two different, they're removed from each other. And it's also shown here, and with a religious leader and whoever's following him. So in a lot of times with this card, I think of school, any kind of institution where you're learning from someone's your teacher, your mentor, someone that holds you accountable to certain things, rules or regulations, or commandments, if you will, because if you want to get biblical. But with this card coming out first, and then the Hierophant, I feel like this is definitely group associated, as in I feel very compelled to move the cards that way. And not that they're separate situations, but to just better understand like the chapters of my movie playing in my head. And it may be, I'm actually really feeling right now that the spontaneity may very well be having to do with some air sign energy, whether this is a friend or coworker or boss or whatnot, and being very blunt and straightforward about whatever this group is and whatever the rules are or the status quo about it. And this may be you speaking out or for something within a group or organization that's and it may be like this be spontaneous kind of energy of celebrate and be excited. And it may be, I'm really excited about this, and I want to present it, or I just feel like a lot of logic and truth and straightforward speaking is important in this situation. Let's pull some more cards and get some more clarity here. The World and the Knight of Swords. So again, a Swords card coming out, Swords Court card of the Knight. The Knight of Swords is, he's making moves, right? Nothing looks slow and calm about this guy. Everything about that card screams movement, it screams activity, it screams being involved, it screams front line. You know what I mean? Like this knight out there on the front line fighting a battle. Very decisive and maybe a little risky, maybe not thinking things through all the way, or being a little short-sighted. But coming out with the World card, that's a completion card. What goes around comes around, and the beginning is the end kind of thing. And understanding that there's cycles to what happens in our life and the completion of cycles. So maybe whatever this is, whatever this institution is, I think the cards are, you're feeling in a place where I feel like this person feels that they're in a place to be honest, to be open, to speak freely, to engage in a very straightforward manner. There's no negative cards out here other than, this can be construed as negative. It depends on your perspective. But I think it was really to draw attention to whatever this situation is, a separation of groups, or how... I really wish I had more words in my head to try to explain this. I feel like I'm on repeat, and I'm really sorry if you're tired of me saying the same thing over and over again. I just can't seem to wrap my brain around exactly what this is, but I'm sure whoever this is making sense to, it makes sense to. So, however, I see everything as positive, and I see this person being able to speak really freely and being able to express themselves, and they might be a little, too into it, a little too hyperactive, a little too, not thinking before they speak, maybe a little too blunt or a little too harsh or a little too whatever. But coming out with a world card, that kind of be more of positive energy of understanding the cycle and the completeness of whatever that is. Let's pull two more. That was me just not being able to shuffle. And then I will stop the camera and we'll do the second half of the reading. But let's pull two more so out of here. Is that two? We have the Devil and the Three of Coins. I really think this is not necessarily like your religious practice or your spiritual practice, and much more associated with work or some kind of a group involvement or like organization, like a sports team, or something that's different. I feel like there's some issues with working together with others. The Three of Coin is a lot to do with compromise, presenting yourself wisely in front of others, presenting yourself in a way that others are going to want to work with you to help grow something more. Like this person, a lot of times in cards, is shown as they're like up on top of a pedestal or bench or something selling their wares at a market, and there's people who are really well dressed and kind of like look wealthy standing at their feet, like, yeah, you're selling a cool product, me buying it and telling my friends about it will help you grow your business, or that kind of thing. Coming out with the Devil card, the Devil card is bad behaviors, addictions, things that control you, those kind of energies. I just feel like you, because I'm going to take these court cards as you. I really am feeling that. I'm feeling like you are being able to speak your truth right now, and be really logical about things, and you're feeling really decisive about those things, and it may be meeting some resistance with whatever this group or organization you're a part of. There just seems to be issues with compromise, or possibly almost like I don't know why this came to mind, but codependency came to mind. So there might be unhealthy emotional attachments, unhealthy just relationships in general within this organization or community that you have had the guts to speak up about. And maybe this world's coming out because it's like, I'm not going to do that anymore. This needs to come to an end, and I'm just not going to play that game anymore. Let me see where I am on time. Sorry, that was probably loud. Yep, I'm going to pause. I'm going to stop the camera, and we'll continue on in a moment. For you, Taurus, but I just wanted to make sure that I didn't miss anything in this reading. It seems to be kind of heavy, and I was going to stop here with these two and clear everything and do a different reading. I feel like I need one more. I feel like there's some kind of final word that we need to hear on this. So yeah, I would be very mindful working with others this month, whatever group. If there's somebody I feel like outside your league on another level than you, on the inside looking out on this group, if you're like a group member and someone who is a group leader, organizational, leader, and there's something you have to say, or there's something you don't agree with, or whatever, you feel very capable of saying that and voicing. But I feel like this may be the reason why you want to talk, is because there's bad behaviors or unhealthy relationships forming there, or whatever that case may be. And that's why I feel like I need to pull at least one more card. And this card has tried to flop out a couple times, and this card is all about flexibility. This is the Two of Coins. So I think this coming out as our final card is telling you that maybe you don't need to be in control of whatever this is, and that's why being spontaneous and the Four of Wands came out first, is to remind you that maybe this isn't your show, and maybe you don't have to tell people, you don't have to be in control of it. I would definitely take this as needing to go with the flow a little bit more. And maybe that's why I've had a hard time reading this, because my perspective's been different, with the spontaneous coming out first and then all these serious cards to end with the Two of Coins. Instead of pushing you to speak your truth, I should have been telling you to shut the hell up. My neighbor's got a motorcycle, that's loud. Okay, sorry. Perfect timing, right? After I just told you to shut up. No, but for real, maybe whatever this is, maybe that's why you need to be a little bit more spontaneous and loosen up a little bit, and not be so like, I'm going to run things, and this is how it needs to be, and I'm going to create these rules in this group. And so if you are the head of an organization or group or whatever, you should maybe take a really hard look at yourself and call yourself on your own crap. I don't know. Let's pull, I have another deck of cards here that I wanted to use with you all for today's reading, since I'm trying to do a bit of an extended reading, because I screwed up and didn't post videos like I told you I would, and I really hate not doing what I say I'm going to do. All right, Taurus. Let's pull one specifically for your mental space. Judgment. Maybe that's why you got a lot to say, because you're being judgy. Or maybe that's why you're not being spontaneous, because you're too busy judging yourself or judging what's supposed to be done. The Judgment card can be you judging somebody else or yourself, or, picking yourself apart about things. I always think of words like shame, regret, grief, different things we hold on to for a long time, regrets, and we get really judgy with ourselves, and we keep holding ourselves accountable for things done in the past over and over and over again, instead of moving through them and living a day or a moment in time, and the judgment being, am I a good person? And that's all that matters, instead of judging from someone else's perspective, or like somebody else is holding you or judging you, whatever. Are you allowing yourself to just be yourself and know that your intent is good and you're a decent human being, and you can go to bed at night with a clear conscience? Pull a card for physical space. We have the Four of Cups. And pouty Mr. Powderson here. I can't speak English. That was embarrassing. I don't even know what I was trying to say. Pouty McPoutyson. you know, it shows him here on a deserted island, and he has 3 cups, and there's one being brought in by a cloud, but he's so pouty he's not seeing that this gift is being brought to him, and cups being emotional stuff. In your physical space, you may be isolating yourself, you may be withdrawn from others, you may not be physically interacting with your significant other or friends, and you can take that however you want. But this is a card of obvious isolation and kind of feeling less than great about the current situation. So physically, you may be in a place where you're sitting still and not moving like you should be, not being involved in things that you should be involved in, not you may not even be exercising or taking physical care of yourself the way you should. Let's pull a card for your I'm telling you, my brain is broken today. I do it the same way every time, and all of a sudden I can't remember. Emotional space. We have the 7 of Wands, and as you can see, the sweet little 7 of Wands looks kind of scared. It's more of a, you know, they have the high ground, right? But they're on the defense, and they're trying to protect something. They're standing up for something. So what are you standing for right now? What are you willing to fight for? Are you trying to just win, or is it important to win? Is it important to defend this? Are you on a high horse, or are you taking the high road? Those are 2 very different things. So I would be mindful of how that energy is being displayed in your life right now. This coming out in your emotional space. You may feel beat up, or you may feel like you're going to be under attack, or you may feel like you have to defend your own heart. And spiritually, we have the Queen of Swords. So in case you forgot, we already have the Queen of Swords. And she and the Knight of Swords were kind of bookending whatever this Hierophant 5 of coin energy, this organization energy. This coming out in your spiritual space, this may very well be a religious group. This may very well be, however, going back to the other reading, how whatever your spiritual group, your spiritual setting space is. And so you may just be being very vocal about what you think and how you feel, and being very blunt and straightforward with people regarding it, whether it's inside or outside of your organization. I just see this as a very kind of forceful energy happening for you this month, Taurus, of wanting to be heard and feeling very sure in what you have to say, and you know how you think and how you feel and how you're going to articulate yourself to others, and I feel that it has good intent. So I'm going to take 2 last cards for you, and I'm going to do suggestion cards. Alright, well apparently it's going to be 3. Now we have the 2 of Wands, the Chariot, and the 4 of Swords. Oh, I picked up the other deck. Well, apparently that was supposed to be. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. So we had, for our last card, earlier, we had the Two of Coins, which is about being flexible and being able to go with the flow. Now the Two of Wands is like weighing two options. Do I stay or do I go? What is one better than the other? Here you see him holding, onto those things, and all of this like sacred geometry stuff it's the same on both sides. So it may be just, okay, it's good here. It doesn't mean I want to leave here. But I may also want to look at my options kind of thing. And it doesn't necessarily mean making a decision to leave one or the other. But there is a bit of, I don't know, or at least exploring options, at least being open to options. And the Chariot is a card of movement. This person driving this chariot, a lot of times on cards, and it's not really here, but the things pulling the chariot are usually depicted as different colors and different animals, or they're different than each other. So to me, this is someone taking two forces that are not the same and being able to bring them together for the three of you to have momentum forward. And that just made me think that you had the Three of Coins come out near the end in the earlier reading. And I was talking about compromise, or people being able to work together. And this, again, is a card of compromise and being able to work together to create a movement within whatever's happening. So I said that I thought that was a problem because it was coming out with a Devil card. Sorry, I'm drying up all of a sudden. And again, I think this is just coming out to be very clear that compromise and trying to find a space for multiple parties to work together and deal with each other and so forth is really important. And we're going to end with the Four of Swords. And the Four of Swords is about taking a mental break. It almost looks like he's like sarcophagus, like you can't get any more asleep than that. But to me, this is a mental health check. This is giving yourself a day to rest. This is a lay in bed and watch Netflix all day kind of day. Just turn off life, turn off worries and thoughts, and be still. Meditation, self-care in general, all of those things, prayer. However that energy, whatever that means to you, take time to take care of yourself, take time to think easy thoughts once in a while. It's almost impossible. My brain really never turns off. Meditating can be really, really hard for me sometimes. Even praying, my brain falls down a odd rabbit hole, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, where did this begin? Trying to find your way back to the beginning is almost impossible. But so if you can't turn it off, at least be nice to yourself. At least give yourself times of gentle thought where you're not too hard on yourself. You're not trying to control things. You're not trying to worry about all the intricate details of how every little thing works and planning stuff out, and be like, nope, I'm just going to chill. I'm going to take it easy on myself. I'm going to watch mindless TV for a little while, or I'm going to take a hot bath, or I'm going to, whatever it is you do for self-care, and I'm going to be gentle on myself for a little bit. So I think that's a beautiful card to come out at the end, tying the three of them together overall with everything else. I really feel like you got something to say. So however you got to make that happen this month, I'm sure you will, Taurus, because, well, you're Taurus. I think it's best, though, whenever we enter those kind of situations where there's a possibility of conflict, which we didn't have a lot of conflict cards come out in association with them, but I shouldn't say conflict, vulnerability, where you open yourself up for some kind of conflict or for some kind of disagreement or issues with people working together. It's sometimes difficult, and it can sometimes be a little emotionally exhausting. Just take care of yourself. Don't isolate. Don't feel like you have to defend things. Just be authentically the most real you can be, and lead life with good intent, and it should go smoothly, right? Like, that's what we're told by all the happy, healthy gurus. But I really feel, Taurus, that's smart advice this month. So I hope you're well. If you resonate with this at all, I would love to hear from you. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, you could drop a message below or hit me up on one of my social medias. If you'd like it to be like a private message, you're welcome to. I love to hear from people. At the very least, I'd love a thumbs up. And if you would like to hear from me in the future, just remember to hit subscribe, and I will see you soon. Be well, Taurus. Bye-bye.